What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 66. We have Sean Strickland going against Jared Cannonier.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for the last betting breakdown video of the year. This is actually going to be the last video on my channel for 2022. I'll be coming back very early in 2023 for some content, but do want to start right off the bat saying thank you all so much for a phenomenal year. I do appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the subs, all the subscriptions to the website. Do appreciate you guys a ton. It's been a really good year, really good end of the year. I think I'm 8-1-1 in terms of winning events in the last 10 weeks. So it's been a phenomenal last 10 weeks, last couple months. And yeah, very happy with how this year played out. No complaints from me. And just looking to kind of build on that into next year, keep improving, keep learning. I've learned a lot over the year. So yeah, it's a good year overall. Really happy with how it kind of played out. So thank you guys so much. Before we get into this video, if you guys can please like, subscribe, all the good stuff. It is much, much appreciated. Be sure to check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. You guys have any questions, comments, or concerns? But I say we get into the last breakdown for 2022. Starting with the first fight of the night, we have Sergey Morozov going against Journey Newson. Yeah, no bet here for me. What I do like Morozov here. I just don't really like the price tag, sitting at minus 335. It's just a hefty price to pay for somebody who I think is really good, but kind of a hole in this game is the durability. He's been finishing 4 out of his 5 losses. I don't like that. He has been submitted, I think, 3 times, and he's going against a black belt here in Newson, but he should be able to go out here and kind of grind this one out. I guess the one spot I was maybe considering would be the decision prop for Morozov, but nothing to really jump out at me. So I'm passing on the first fight of the night. The pick is going to be the pretty big favorite in Morozov. Moving on, we have Manel Kape going against David Dvorak. This is a fight I was kind of going to stay away from, but we have Manel Kape here, who's a minus 250 favorite, and my thinking is if Manel Kape wins this fight, it's going to be by a finish. And he's heavily favored to win this fight. Manel Kape's not a decision guy. He's not a minute winner. He has only 1 decision win in his entire career. I think he is 1-4, actually, in decisions. If this fight goes to decision, there's probably a good chance David Dvorak is able to pull it out. But I do think Manel Kape is able to find the finish at some point in this fight. I think he's very, very dangerous. A 94% finish rate for a flyweight. So instead of laying that minus 250 on Manel Kape, which I would not recommend, what I did do is I put a half unit shot on Manel Kape to win inside the distance at plus 145. I think it's a great way to play Manel Kape this week. If you're on the David Dvorak side, I would look at the decision only, which I think I saw like plus 140, or David Dvorak by decision in general. I think if this fight does go to decision, he's going to be very live to win the fight, but I think Kape eventually catches him. So give me Kape inside the distance here. Moving on, we have Fakhretdinov going against Bryan Battle. This is a fight I kind of waited to see the weigh-ins, and yeah, I'm really happy with how Bryan Battle looked. This was the second time cutting down to 170, and yeah, he looked great, especially coming in on short notice. He actually looked a lot better, I thought, this time around than he did against when he fought Takashi Sato. So very happy with how Bryan Battle looked. Hopefully that impacts his performance in a good way. But yeah, it's one of those fights where I see it going one of two ways. I think if Renat's able to win this fight, he's going to mix in takedowns. He's going to take down Battle, who, the takedown defense isn't great. We've seen, lesser opponents take down Bryan Battle, but Bryan Battle's a guy that just has that dog in him. He's always going to be there for the entire fight. He has great cardio, great durability, great power, slick submission game. I kind of like Bryan Battle here. The way I played it, there's a prop that really sticks out to me on FanDuel Sportsbook. They have the finish only. They call it the decision no bet on FanDuel, and they have Bryan Battle decision no bet. That scorecards no action at plus 184. So I took a half unit shot on that. Man, if Renat Fakhretdinov was not able to finish a gassed out Michailidis who gassed out in the first 3 minutes, I just don't know if he's going to finish Bryan Battle here. So I think if there is a finish in this fight, I think Bryan Battle has a good chance to get that finish there. If the fight goes to decision, that bet is obviously voided, and that probably means that Fakhretdinov was able to mix in those takedowns and kind of grind out the fight here. But I think Battle is going to have multiple opportunities across the 15 minutes and find that finish. So give me Battle, that decision only, or that finish only, the decision no bet, the scorecards no action. I wish the books would all call it the same thing, but there's like 3 different names for it. But I do like that finish only for Bryan Battle. Another prop that kind of stuck out was Battle by finish in general was just plus 470. I think that's pretty interesting. Like, Bryan Battle is dangerous everywhere the fight goes. So that was another thing that kind of stuck out, but I am on that decision only myself for a half a unit, plus 184. Next, we have Rafa Garcia going against Mahashate. Yeah, this fight kind of sketches me out. Mahashate was the only one to miss weight here. He's going to have a big size advantage, especially with the weight miss. It's one I'm just staying away from. I think Rafa Garcia should go out here and get takedowns, but there's just very little information on Mahashate. From the footage I've seen, I have seen him taken down. I have seen him controlled, but this is a fight we're talking 3-4 years ago, so he's had to make improvements in that since then. He's a very young guy. Just a fight that I just want to stay far, far away from, especially since the line's moved. Rafa Garcia opened up as a pick'em. I wouldn't have minded there, but now at minus 140, I'm definitely not jumping on. Pretty easy pass for me. I'm passing on the next fight as well. Said Nurmagomedov going against Sadyokub Kakhramonov. It's one of those fights where I see a lot of people on Kakhramonov, including me, and the line is just not really moving. I mean, it's moving a tad. It was a pick'em all week. Now it's slight favorite Kakhramonov, but this is a big step up in competition. I'm kind of buying into the Kakhramonov hype like a lot of people are, but Said Nurmagomedov has fought the much better competition. I think a pick'em is about right here, and not really tempted on anything. No props, no money line. I'm going to sit back and watch this one. Probably one of the better fights on the card. Next, we have Jake Matthews going against Matthew Semelsberger. I did jump in on the fight doesn't go to decision pretty early in the week on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. I got a half unit on the fight doesn't go at plus 150. I jumped on that. It's now like plus 110, plus 105. I still think at plus money, the violence props are the way to go here, just due to the fact that I see paths to both guys finishing. I think Jake Matthews, if he shows up and looks anything like he did in his last fight, could very well be live for a knockout, but more specifically, I think he's live for the submission. I think he's going to have a massive advantage on the mat. Like, Semelsberger looks like kind of a fish out of water on the mat. He's been submitted before. Did not like how he looked against AJ Fletcher. Fletcher was able to get into multiple dominant positions. And Jake Matthews, he has multiple subs in the UFC. He is a black belt in BJJ. I think the sub's super live here for Jake Matthews. And the odds makers kind of agree because it's only sitting at plus 325 there. So I think Matthews can finish, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the mat with the sub. And then, of course, if Semelsberger wins this fight, it is going to be by knockout. Semelsberger hits like an absolute truck. We have seen Matthews hurt multiple times. We have seen him finish multiple times in the UFC. I think it's a solid violent spot here at plus money. I'll be taking the shot for a half a unit, plus 150. The line just came down a little bit. I'd still play it at plus money. Next, we have Shine Vlismas going against Corey McKenna. Yeah, just a pass here. I don't bet on fights like these anymore. I think it's a solid spot for Vlismas, but would I be shocked if Corey McKenna came in here, mixed in takedowns, and won the fight? No, I would not be. Just pass. Not much to say on this fight. Next, we have Mikhail Oleksiejczuk going against Cody Brundage. I have two bets here. So the first bet I have is the under 1.5 rounds. I got it at minus 115 for 1 unit. Opened at some books at like minus 105, minus 110. I missed both those. I jumped in a little bit early, I suppose. And then as the week kind of went on, there has been money come in on that under 1.5 rounds. So I like the under 1.5. And then on DraftKings, they have the fight won't start round 3. This means that the fight ends in the first 2 rounds, and they have that at minus 170, and I put a unit on that. So 2 units total on violence here, the under 1.5, and the fight won't start round 3. I think it's going to be a car crash here. I think both guys are live for the finish early. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is going to have the striking advantage. He has great pressure, great pace, he had great power as well. He's going to have the advantage on the feet there. I think he's live for the knockout. And on the flip side, Cody Brundage, wrestling background, Oleksiejczuk has struggled with the takedown defense. He's struggled with the ground game, and every time we have seen Oleksiejczuk on the mat, just looks like a fish out of water. Crew was able to take him down like 7-8 times, submit him. OSP took him down, submitted him shortly after. And Brundage is a slick grappler with great ground and pound, able to get into dominant positions. So I like this fight to finish one way or another, and I think it probably does finish in the very first round. Stylistically, I love that striker versus grappler matchup for some violence. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have Drew Dober going against Bobby Green. I think this is a very close fight here. I do end up on the Bobby Green side myself, and I do have 2 bets here. The first bet is going to be Bobby Green to win by decision, plus 230 on FanDuel for a quarter unit. Bobby Green's not finishing Drew Dober. Nobody's finishing Drew Dober, at least not with strikes. I mean, this guy has one of the best chins in the UFC, and Bobby Green's not going to go out there and submit him more often than not. So I don't think Bobby Green's finishing Drew Dober. And then I also have someone wins by split or majority decision. So the fight goes to split decision. DraftKings Sportsbook has that prop, and I got that at plus 500, and I have a quarter unit on that as well. So a quarter unit on Bobby Green to win by decision, and then a quarter unit on the split decision prop. I think this fight could really go either way. You have the volume of Bobby Green, you have the power of Drew Dober. It's one of those fights where it's probably going to go to decision. Both guys are super, super tough, and it's going to come down to the judges, which kind of scares me, and that's why I didn't really want to get too invested in this fight and too invested in Bobby Green, because I just have a feeling that he's going to outland Drew Dober in every single round. probably mixing some takedowns, but Drew Dober is going to be landing the harder shots, less volume, but the harder shots, and there's a good chance that judges can score for him. But I think the split is super live here as long as there's not a finish, and I don't really think there will be one. So give me the fight to end by split, quarter unit plus 500, and then a little quarter unit sprinkle on Bobby Green by decision at plus 230. All right, next we have Julian Erosa going against Alex Caceres. I have a bet here as well. I have the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 130. I have a half a unit on it. I was going to just play Erosa inside the distance, but the reason I didn't is he has been finished a lot. He's very defensively irresponsible. Him being a favorite kind of sketches me out because he's been a favorite only once thus far in the UFC. He's always a dog. So just in case, I took the safe route and got the fight doesn't go rather than betting Julian Erosa inside the distance. I think if there's a finish, it is more likely on the Erosa side. I love the cardio pace and the pressure he uses as a weapon. Has very good power on the feet, has a very slick submission game, and Alex Caceres has been submitted like 7 times. So I think Julian Erosa breaks Alex Caceres as the fight goes on. But just to cover both sides, like if Erosa is going to be there to be hit, he's going to get hit a lot in this fight, and Alex Caceres, although he doesn't have a ton of power, he's going to land clean quite a bit. So just to cover both sides, but I think Erosa wins this fight inside the distance later in the fight. But yeah, half a unit, fight doesn't go, plus 130. Next we have Abazdi Costa. Yeah, it's a pass. I was considering like the over 1.5 earlier in the week. It would open up at like minus 150. That got smashed. It's like now minus 200. Nothing really sticking out here. Albazi is a big favorite. He should win this fight. I don't think Costa's a bad fighter by any means, though. It's a tough ask coming in here on short notice and beating a guy like Amir Albazi. So I'm not parlaying him myself. I know a lot of people are probably going to. I have no parlays this week, but he should win this fight. But minus 450 is just not something I'm interested in. Arman Tsarukyan going against Damir Ismagulov. Another fight I feel like it could be close. This is one of those fights where I feel like another split decision prop could be in play. I like the fight goes to decision here. I like the over 2.5. Just not something I got to from a betting perspective. A fight I'm just content with just sitting back and watching. You have the striking of Ismagulov, the wrestling and the power of Tsarukyan. I think it's a close fight here. Just no action for me. No reason to bet this fight, but it should be a very fun one. Looks like a lot of people are betting this fight, though, one side or another. I don't really have a strong lean one way or another, so I'm going to stay away. But yeah, pick Tsarukyan. I think he does mix in the takedowns. I think he does land some big shots on the feet, but I think it's going to be a very close fight, and I don't like that minus 200. And then finally, Sean Strickland, Jared Cannonier. I have 1 unit on the Jared Cannonier scorecards, no action, that finish only, and I got it at minus 138. That has moved a tad. It actually opened up at like minus 120, so I missed that line there. I think best price is like minus 150 or something, but I think if there's a finish in this fight, it is more likely that it comes from the Cannonier side. Cannonier has been knocked out twice, but it came at heavyweight and light heavyweight. Sean Strickland's been knocked out twice in his own right, and then you just take a look at the power. I mean, Cannonier has the much better power in this matchup. Sean Strickland more of a volume guy. I don't see Sean Strickland taking down Cannonier, looking for a sub. It's just not Sean Strickland's game. I think they're going to stand in the middle and bang, and Cannonier is going to have multiple opportunities to land a big shot across 5 rounds. So I like the scorecards, no action here in Cannonier. I think this fight does go to decision. It probably means that Strickland was able to outvolume him, but I think if there is a finish in this fight, it is more likely, at least more likely than the minus 138 does indicate that Cannonier does finish this fight. So quick recap, I have a half a unit on the Semelsberger Matthews fight doesn't go, plus 150, half a unit on the Caceres Erosa fight doesn't go, plus 130. I have the under 1.5 rounds for Mikel Oleksiejczuk Brundage. 1 unit minus 115. I have the fight won't start round 3. Brundage Oleksiejczuk, 1 unit minus 170. I have the Cannonier scorecards no action, 1 unit minus 138. I have the battle scorecards no action, half a unit plus 184. I have the split decision prop in the Green Dober fight, quarter unit plus 500. Green wins by decision, quarter unit plus 230. And the Manel Cop wins inside the distance, plus 145. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck on your action. We will talk to you guys very soon. Good luck for UFC Vegas 66. See you guys later.